So we're going to start off with seated pose first, crossing those legs, and then just taking the hands gently forwards. If this is already enough for you, just stay here. If you can, gently walk forwards, and then just stretching out through the back of those hips. Take a few breaths here, keeping the back of your neck long. And then gently walk those hands back in, changing the crossing of the legs, so the other shin in front. And again, you can just take the hands forwards, stay up high if you need to, otherwise you're coming forwards and stretching through the back of the hips. Nice deep breaths. And walking the hands back in gently. So from here, just pick up the left foot, take it with both hands, and then just easing the knee back, just stretching through the right, left hip. Reach back with the knee, squeezing to the hips. And then releasing, swapping over. Take hold of the right foot and just ease it back gently. Try and keep the knee straight in line with your ankle and push back. So flexing that foot. So make sure you protect the knee. Get a good stretch. And then you can bring the leg in. Just put it in across your chest any way you can. Just gently rocking. If you're going well, you can place the foot on the inside of that left elbow and just give yourself an extra rock. So you're just holding the leg like it's a baby. And you can just taking the arms underneath as well, just holding it this way. Makes it a little easier for some. And then releasing. And just taking the left, again, just cradle the leg in where you can. So maybe you're just here. Maybe you're working deeper, the foot just inside the crook of your elbow. And give yourself a rock. So this is working those hips, getting deep into the pelvis. And then releasing. And then just taking those legs forwards. Stretch out those knees, maybe just give them a little tap. And then place the right foot over your left knee. So coming into a twist here. Pull up nice and tall. Now you can keep the left leg straight. If you wanted to go deeper here, bring that left foot down by your right hip. And just pull up nice and tall. Take the right hand to the floor. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twisting over to the right, turning the shoulders. Just keep breathing here, lengthening as you inhale. Exhaling, twisting. And coming back round to center, swapping those legs. So bring that right foot out, left foot out, and then just give the knees a tap down. So now left foot over that right knee. And again, the right leg can stay straight, or you can bring it down by your left hip. Checking that left foot is flat to the mat here. Pull up nice and tall. Left hand to the floor, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twisting to the left, turning those shoulders as much as you can. Just keep breathing, lengthening up, really squeeze into your tummy. Try and avoid leaning into this back hand too much. And just working the hips once again, those outer edges of the pelvis. And then going right round to center. And releasing those legs. And then coming forwards onto all fours. And then you're just going to gently sit back onto the heels and stretch out the front of those legs. Now if you find this tough, you can bring a block and place it underneath your heels, lifting yourself a bit higher. Taking a few deep breaths. Just trying to relax the shoulders down. Lengthen up into the torso, into your tummy. then releasing the block. Now you're just going to tuck those toes underneath you and gently push the weight back through the heels. So you're stretching through those toes and trying to get all the toes down if you can. And then you're just going to gently slide the knees forwards a little. This isn't going to increase that stretch to the toes and your arches. And just keep breathing. And then releasing gently. Release the front of the feet back to the mat, taking yourself back into that Vajrasana pose with your bottom just down on your heels. And again, use a block if you need to. And then we're just going to take those arms and reach them up towards the ceiling. We're interlacing the fingers, pushing the palms up and stretching. Right up, opening up the spine, putting the belly in. And then releasing, and just swapping the link of your fingers. So one finger moves up and then releasing, pushing the hands away, stretching towards the ceiling. Keep pulling the belly in and the shoulders down. And then release. Again, if you need to have a little break, just release off those heels. And then come back and take the hands, interlace them behind you. Drop the shoulders, squeeze the arms together and gently pull the hands away from your seat. Keeping the spine long and try and keep the lower back straight. So the tendency is to round up in the chest and really overarch your lower back. But try and pull that lower tailbone down towards the floor. Pull the ribs and the chest back in. And then releasing gently through the arms. And now we're going to just take the feet and gently release them over to the left. So your left foot was just going to gently place on top of your right. And you're going to come down to sit just beside the feet. Now you can try and lift yourself up a little if you find this really hard on to your right hip, and just place a block underneath you. So you're just stretching through the front of the feet. And now if again this finds too much for you, you can bring that right foot back out in front of you. So it's just at an angle, and this makes it a little easier. Keeps the weight nice and balanced. So either way, you're just going to start to twist over to the right, taking the left hand to that right knee and then twisting all the way around to the right, turning those shoulders. So whatever version you're doing, you're just twisting, keeping the shoulders down, putting the belly in. And then coming back round to center. And then just releasing that right foot. You're gently going to pick it up and try and bring that foot in towards you. So all you're doing is just lifting it up. And if this is too much, just stay with the previous version. You're trying to get that foot into kind of a half lotus position. And then again, you're twisting and turning over to that right side. And then coming all the way back round to the front. Release the foot out, stretch it out in front of you. And then you're going to find yourself in a half Virasana. So again, if you find that your weight is slightly off and the one hip lifts higher than the other, you can place a block right underneath that right hip to support you, so it levels off your hips and you won't feel too weird. Okay, so you can stay here on the block, or you may be great on the floor. Take an in-breath, lengthen up, and as you exhale, just stretching down that right leg. So you ease yourself forwards where you can. It doesn't have to be deep. Keep breathing, stretching down the length of that leg. So again, if you wanted some extra support, just take that right hand to the mat and just use the left hand on the foot. Ease yourself down the leg, keep breathing. Just come up and release the block if it's there underneath you, and release that left leg out very gently and just give it a tap down onto your mat. And then we're going to again come forwards onto all fours, come back, stretching back into kneeling pose, so just coming down, sitting onto your heels. Okay, we're going to do the other side now. So all you're doing is lifting, taking the feet over to the right, and then coming back to lie down onto that left hip. So the right foot is just lying on the inside of that left arch. And again, if you find this really weird, too much, you can prop a block underneath that left hip, lifting you up a bit higher so you're a little bit more balanced. Whatever feels good for you. And then just turning to the left, taking the right hand to the left knee and twisting, turning the body, keeping the shoulders down, squeezing the tummy in. And coming back around to center. And again, you can either just bring that foot just in front of you here, or you're taking it deeper and bringing that right foot all the way up to the left foot, to your right hip. And twisting once again, turning. This is called a mermaid twist. And releasing, coming back around. You can hold these poses as long as you wish to. You can hold them a little bit longer if you want, pausing the video. And so again, you're going to come back into half Vajrasana, so you're just stretching that left leg forwards. Use a prop underneath the hip if you need to. And again, this should help balance out your hips. And again, take an in-breath, and as you exhale, stretch forwards and lengthen down that leg, opening up through the hamstrings as well as stretching those feet, your thighs, and breathing again. This left hand can come down to the floor for giving you some support. And then slowly coming right back up, releasing. And then stretching that leg back out, tapping those knees down gently. And again now, we're going to take the left leg back behind you. Tuck the toes, make sure you're on the front of the foot and your calf is rolling out slightly. So you're really getting deeper into the stretch now. Taking the hands just gently behind you. So you may only come this far. If you feel you're going really well, you can try and get yourself down onto the forearms. Again, just keep trying to lengthen your tailbone. You may already feel that this is enough of a stretch, in which case stay there. If you wish to, you may be coming all the way down to the floor and coming down deeper into this stretch. If at any point it feels too much, just come out of the pose. You can stretch the arms towards the floor above your head and just stretch out. And then again, if you find that one stretch is a bit too much, just come out of the pose. I like to do this one, just keep my right arm down on the floor just to help balance out the weight. Really gets a good stretch into the front of the hips as well as your feet. And again, you can hold these poses as long as you wish to. And gently coming up out of the pose and releasing that leg. Maybe just give them a little tap down. Release your knees. So if you have tight knees, these poses are quite difficult, and it's probably important that you warm up much more than we have done in this class. And just take a few more stretches, maybe do some sun salutations, get the hips and your knees warm. And again, we're going to tuck the right foot underneath you. Make sure the front of the foot just points down to the floor and the sole right up. And again, you're just going to bring the hands back behind you. And then slowly come right down. Again, this already may be enough. You can just stay there, you're fine. This side is a bit more tight than this for me, so if you can come down, do so. But I find this really intense on the front of my quads. And again, you can take the arms up, or just keep the right arm up and the left hand down. And just breathing through it. And again, coming gently up and releasing that leg, stretching it out. Give those knees a little tap down. And then you're going to come forwards onto all fours once again. So keep the knees together this time, your feet apart, and just sit back into Virasana. Again, you can have a block, place it underneath your sit bones if you find that it's too much. Just stretching the front of the feet. Keep breathing. Relaxing those hands gently on your knees. You can take a chin mudra if you would like to. Maybe closing your eyes if you feel comfortable to do so, and just take a few breaths here. Bringing the mind and focusing into the breaths. And as you're working your root chakra, you may wish to visualize a beautiful ruby red circle or light, moving in a circular motion just between those sit bones. And every time you're breathing, you can just visualize this light expanding and gently stretching, rooting you down into the earth. Just connecting you with Mother Earth, the planet, every being on this planet. Just allow yourself to be absorbed with that beautiful energy. And feeling completely secure and are one with all creation. And then releasing gently. Again, you can take the block away. If you feel comfortable, you can just come back onto those elbows, maybe increasing the stretch line all the way down. Again, just try and keep those knees quite close together. Take a few breaths here. And then coming back up, gently come forwards, stretch out those legs. And then we're just going to take your feet all the way to the floor. So you're going to try and roll back onto those heels. Get your feet touching. So either big toes or the heels to touch. If you can, you're trying to get those heels down towards the mat and splay your knees out quite wide. So you're really trying to get your ankles to gently stretch here. Now if the feet don't come all the way down to the mat, you can take a block and just rest them underneath the heels to support you while you're doing this. And eventually you may get more of a stretch as time goes on and you can get your heels down further. Mine don't quite touch the floor and I have quite strong ankles. So it's just working with it what you can. And if you can go deeper, bringing the head down. You may even be able to take your hands around, interlacing those fingers and drawing yourself down into a tight little ball. So you're working the hips as well as your ankles in this pose. And then slowly coming back out of the pose very gently. And then releasing. Coming back to the front of the feet, knees apart and stretching forwards. And then slowly, if you wanted to take a Shavasana, you could take it onto the front of your body and just taking those arms down and resting the head to the side and taking Shavasana this way. If you prefer to take it on your back, then that's fine, you do so. But if you can, just take it on your front. It's quite comfortable and quite relaxing, and you're stretching through the front of those feet